This movie just shows that they're just making a sequel for the sake of making a sequel. It just goes completely nowhere. Like, this whole plot of this movie, honestly, didn't need to happen. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On the Braincat, and finally my most anticipated film for the rest of 2024 has finally arrived. Today I'm going to review Joker Folie, Deux. This film is a sequel to the successful 2019's Joker, and this movie is once again directed by Todd Phillips, who directed the first Joker movie. And this movie stars the return of Joaquin with Lady Gaga. And of course, guys, this is going to be a non-spoiler review. I'm not going to spoil any elements from Joker Folie, Deux. You guys are completely safe here. Once again, I'm just talking about my initial thoughts on the movie. That is it. So, let's get on to this review. Struggling with his dual identity, failed comedian Arthur Fleck meets the love of his life, Harley Quinn, while isolated in Arkham State Hospital. So, we got the sequel to 2019's Joker, which is a movie that I loved. It's one of my favorite movies of 2019. It brings out probably one of my favorite performances of the entire year, Joaquin as Arthur Fleck / Joker. He is incredible in that movie, and what I love about Joker is that it presents the origin story of Joker very, very well, and the way they develop Arthur Fleck's character in that film is fantastic. I rewatched Joker before this film, and it's still one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. I loved the first Joker movie, and Todd Phillips directed that movie extremely well. So when I heard that Joker is doing a sequel, I don't know what to think, to be completely honest with you, because I felt like the first Joker stands on its own as a one and only comic book film, but I was interested to see where it goes, and when I heard that it's going to be a musical per se, I was interested. It's something completely different for a comic book film that's a jukebox musical. I was kind of interested going in, and also Lady Gaga is playing Harley Quinn. I was actually on board with that. I think Lady Gaga, although she is a great singer, she's also a really great actress. She is fantastic in A Star Is Born. I thought it's one of her best performances she's ever done. So, I was interested in the movie. The trailers really do impress me, even though I do still find the sequel kind of unnecessary. I was interested to see where Arthur Fleck goes and where the story of this movie goes. And this movie is of course very divisive, but so does the first Joker movie. The first Joker movie was very divisive when it came out, and this movie is very divisive. Mostly negative though. A lot of people were disappointed by Joker Folie, Deux, but I still went into Joker Folie, Deux with an open mind. I saw this movie in 50-70mm in IMAX, and I gotta say, the 50-70mm in IMAX is great. It's definitely great for this film. So, what do I think of Joker Folie, Deux? Did this movie exceed my expectations in every step of the way? Unfortunately not, guys. Honestly, guys, I was pretty disappointed with Joker Folie, Deux. Now, is this movie a terrible movie? Is this the worst movie of the year? Absolutely not. There are positives with this film, absolutely. Let's go through those first. Of course, the performances of the film is fantastic. Joaquin once again does an excellent performance as Arthur Fleck / Joker. It is so impressive that he won Best Actor, and he's going back to the role that got him the win for Best Actor. It's really impressive, and Joaquin, nothing wrong with his performance. He is still fantastic in this film as Arthur Fleck / Joker. His character arc I'll get back to in the flaws of the movie, but I'll say from performance-wise, Joaquin is still really good in this film. But obviously, guys, the standout of this film, in my opinion, is Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. She is phenomenal in this film. She's definitely the standout of Joker Folie, Deux. I think she has an excellent chemistry with Joaquin in the film. I think the love story between Arthur Fleck and Harley Quinn is really well done, in my opinion, in this film. And of course, with them in the musical sequences, they are fantastic. Lady Gaga has a beautiful voice, and when it comes to the musical sequences, even though I have a problem with that later on in the flaws, I would say Lady Gaga absolutely handles the musical sequences very well, beside Joaquin as well. Their chemistry is definitely, in my opinion, the best part about this movie. And absolutely the production design, the cinematography of Joker Folie, Deux is incredible. Like I said again, the musical sequences, the production design and the cinematography of those scenes look absolutely phenomenal. You could tell that Todd Phillips know how to film a musical and know how to do production values when it comes to a musical. I think the cinematography, the production design is great, and even the score of this film is absolutely incredible. It still has the violin scores from the first Joker movie, which I freaking love. And some of the musical sequences I did like in this film. There are two musical sequences that absolutely stand out in this film that I really did like. And even there is one scene in this film that's involved with a court case, which this movie's also a court case movie, which again, we'll get back to the flaws. But the one court case scene in this film was actually really well written, and I think you guys know what I'm talking about when you watch this film. There's one particular scene where I'm like, this is actually really well executed in my opinion. But unfortunately guys, that's all I gotta say for Joker Folie Do, because man, this movie totally lets me down. And this is one of those movies where it doesn't know what it wants to be, and it's trying to be all these messes all in a row to just make a sequel for the sake of making a sequel. That's just what this film is. The first Joker made basically a lot of money in the box office, so of course they had to make a sequel, because that's what movie productions do with money. When it does well in the box office, make a sequel to see if it does well than the first one. And unfortunately Joker Folie Do just didn't do that, because this movie is just a complete boring, musical, unnecessary mess overall. Let's talk about the musical aspect of the film, because although I did like some of the musical sequences in the film, unfortunately, the musical sequences just didn't need to be in this film at all. The point of a musical movie is that it's supposed to have to do with the story and have to do with the dialogue. There are some certain scenes with Joker Folie Do where it's just a moment happened and then a musical sequence just came out of nowhere. And it becomes kind of cringe at times, I'm going to be completely honest here. And this is coming from the guy that loves musicals. I love musicals. I love musical movies like West Side Story, Wizard of Oz, and all that stuff. But honestly guys, the musical sequences in the film, I never find musical sequence completely unnecessary in a film from this film. If it wasn't a musical, honestly, I feel like this film wouldn't be any different, to be honest with you. So yeah, the musical sequences just didn't need to be in this film, which is very disappointing, because I really do like the idea of this film being a musical, but it just has nothing to do with the story. It just comes out of nowhere. But this movie is also a court case drama of Arthur Fleck being on death trial, and I find those elements also very boring in this film, and especially when it comes to Arthur Fleck's character in this film, he was completely confident at the ending of the first Joker movie, and I was interested to see where that goes in the sequel, see if his confidence is still there. He is back to his normal Arthur Fleck from the first movie. How does that make any freaking sense? And the way to develop Joker in this movie, honestly, why? Without spoiling it, they just kind of ruined the great thing about Joaquin Phoenix's performances in the first Joker and the character of Arthur Fleck in the first movie. They completely ruined that in this movie. But yes, the courtroom drama is honestly really boring in this film, and the musical sequences just felt so out of nowhere in this film. This movie just shows that they're just making a sequel for the sake of making a sequel. It just goes completely nowhere. Like, this whole plot of this movie, honestly, didn't need to happen. The first Joker just felt like a really good solo Joker origin story that ended off as a concluding movie. And now with this film, even though I was interested going in, you can really tell that Todd Phillips does not know what to do with this. He's just making a sequel because it made a lot of money. That's a fact here. That's why this film is even made in the first place. Yeah, this movie had great production design, great cinematography, some of the musical sequences I did like in this film, but this film is just a complete unnecessary mess overall. And it's just such a big shame, because I was interested in the film, and yes, this film had some ideas. I'm not gonna lie, it had some ideas where I'm like, this could go somewhere. This could be okay. But unfortunately, this movie has so many things happening, it just felt like a complete mess overall, and different genres just combined together. Like, this is a romance movie, this is a musical, this is a court drama film, and it just felt so freaking messy overall. And one more thing, the ending of this film. I would agree with everyone, the ending of this film sucked. This is one of the worst endings that I have seen for this entire year. It ends in a thing where I'm like, I'm sorry, this completely ruins what is great about the first Joker movie. I cannot believe I'm saying that. This ending ruined the legacy of the first Joker movie. This makes me just want to watch the first Joker movie and just completely forget about Joker Folie Do, and I was really upset about that. This movie had so many ideas and potential that this movie could have been at least a fine sequel, but with all this genre messes, with an unnecessary jukebox musical, with a court case drama, the film doesn't know what to do with itself. I didn't like what they did with Arthur Fleck's character in this film, and I didn't like where the plot is going. This movie just shows that I feel like Todd Phillips just can't do sequels. Like he did with Hangover Part 2, which is one of the most unnecessary sequels I would say ever. And now we got Joker Folie I'll Do. It just shows that the first one made a lot of money, and they're just making it for the sake of money. That's why they made Joker Folie I'll Do, which is a shame saying that. I was actually very excited for this film, and this film absolutely let me down. Overall, guys, Joker Folie I'll Do is definitely one of the most disappointing films of the year. This film has ideas and potentials, but unfortunately, it just didn't work out. The positives are Joaquin, Phillips, and Lady Gaga. They are fantastic in the film. Some of the musical sequences I did like in the film. 2 of them stand out. There's one court case scene that I did like in this film, and the cinematography, production design, and the score, and some of the songs are really great in the film, but it's all ruined by this unnecessary genre mixed mess. The story, the dialogue of the film just didn't have any impact that the first movie had. And what they did for the conclusion of this film, absolutely in my opinion, is the worst conclusion that I've ever seen in a film. The story was all over the place, the musical sequences are awkward and all over the place, even though there are some that stand out for me. I got a feeling this movie will definitely bomb in the box office because I think a lot of people agree. This is absolutely a film that's going to disappoint a lot of Joker fans. And absolutely, I walked out of IMAX with a pretty disappointed frown to my face. So, all these negatives aside, absolutely guys, I cannot believe I'm going to say this and I don't want to say it, but for my rating of this film, I would say for Joker Folie I'll Do, just go skip this movie. I cannot believe I am saying this. I was going to give it a meh rating, but there are so many negatives of this film than the positives that I just had to give it a low grade, and I feel really disappointed saying that for Joker Folie I'll Do. I was expecting it to be go see this film on the big screen rating or a masterpiece rating, but unfortunately Joker Folie I'll Do just goes down to the barrow. So guys, that is my review for Joker Folie I'll Do. Let me know what you think of this film. If you like this film, that's absolutely fine. If you don't like this film and you're disappointed in this film, let me know all those things in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below, keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel now for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.